Hey, what's up, everyone? Probably the most common question that I get on stream every day is, hey, can you quickly show your atlas? And then, of course, what a lot of content creators have been doing recently is they're like, yep, okay, yep, take a picture, make a clip of it. And the reason for that is I think the value of atlas strategies and where you put those points, while it is important, I think it is such a personal choice that it's like, it actually feels weird to recommend other people a specific strategy. I probably spend about 20 to 30 orbs of unmaking every single day on average. As someone who doesn't have like a real tight relationship with my atlas passes, I just pick kind of like what feels good and I kind of evolve it over time. It's hard for me to like directly recommend a specific strategy because like I really think at the very end of things, just to cut everything short, I think pick the stuff that feels good for you. There's a couple things that you do want to do to like get off the ground and progress your atlas early, and I made a video about that a few weeks ago. But besides that, really just choose the stuff that you like doing. Turn off the stuff that you don't care about. Choose the color of altar that fits your play style. Choose the content that you like to do. There really isn't a lot of like advanced strategy when it comes to an atlas, but there are some synergies that have some value here. And then what I've had on stream here is I've had this atlas command where it's just a picture of my current tree. It's the picture of the most recent one. It's been a pain in the ass to keep that up to date every single day. What I wanted to do is, now that we're about 5 weeks into the league, I wanted to show you guys the evolution of my atlas trees, the different strategies that I've done and why. And maybe there's some background there behind what I did that might help you work on your atlas strategy as well. I really believe, gather as much information as you can get from as many people as possible and come up with your own thing. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So what I did here is I went through my history of screenshots in my screenshot folder, and I found the atlas pictures that I had taken and shared on stream, and I can kind of walk you through the progression here. So my strategy, as always, when you start any league, and as I referenced in the video from about a month ago, basically what you want to do is rush these shaping nodes. You want to go down here, grab those. You want to go around the left side, grab the Kirak missions, and then grab these shaping nodes. This is the early game solo self-found progression. You watch Ben, Nick, Jung Roan, any of those guys do their early game progression. That's exactly what they do. After that, depending on what their strategy is, sometimes you could go towards Maven, you could go towards either of the pinnacle bosses. The other thing that's really important here is actually taking some of the travel nodes here and the connecting nodes. This will give you many more connected and duplicated map drops. And so this is just your regular early SSF progression, just as viable in softcore trade, although in softcore trade, you could trade for some maps if you're doing like some advanced stuff. On top of that, you can see that I rushed all of the expedition nodes. To me, expedition was the early way that I got a lot of currency. I made roughly 30 to 50 divines. My memory's a little rough right now. It's been over a month, but I made roughly 30 to 50 divines in my first week of fairly casual play. Casual for playing full time, but I wasn't doing any hardcore farming. I just wanted to have a little bit of a strategy so I could get some money. And then the other thing is I took the harvest nodes here, here, and here, which then gave me a lot of harvest and allowed me to craft items both for profit and for myself. I really like having some harvest juice ready to go. If I find a good base, I kept my eye out for fractured bases. If you look at my gear this league, you'll see that most of it is fractured bases that I just took anything that I could get. Fractured res, fractured life, fractured spell suppression, and then that makes it really easy to craft your gear if you're doing something like harvest rerolls or essences or anything like that. I don't have essences on this tree, but just as much when you have some extra points, you'll see that I usually have essences on my tree. Essences are a really good way to make currency right now. I probably sell about 5 divines every single day in essences. You can just set your essence tab to public and, just do like 1 out of 8 divine orbs right here. And these things will accrue really quickly. Same thing with the Essences of Loathing, 1 out of 22, 1 out of 21 for divines right there. Really good. So do recommend Essences as well if you don't want to do Expedition or Harvest as just like really early game great strategy. Primarily for crafting though, Essences don't really accrue in value until a few weeks into the league. So you can see this is just probably about 3 days into the league what I did. And then like I said, I did a lot of Expedition, to the point where like I made enough currency doing Expedition and I wanted to focus on Sanctum. Expedition really slowed down Sanctum a lot for me. I still have this many logbooks left over, and these are all Sun and Scythe logbooks on the left side here. This is probably roughly about 20 to 40 divines, based on Tujin luck, just in logbooks. So if I need some money, there's always money in the Expedition stand right there. But yeah, after that, this was a few days into the league. The next thing that I did, this was the little progression here. You'll see that I went into a lot of ritual nodes. So traditionally, if you know me, I'm not really a ritual lover, but this is probably about 5 days into the league. I wanted something that was like kind of supplementary. If I was already mapping kind of slowly, not only was there a challenge, and I always want to be working on those challenges in the back end, but ritual was really, really, really good for just getting up, like finding good synth bases. It's kind of complementary to Expedition as long as you're willing to spend that extra time in the maps. Those good synth bases, good fractured bases, stuff like that, they show up pretty often in Ritual. You also notice in both the previous one and this one, until you have your tree fully put together and you're really focusing on a strategy, I do recommend taking Stream of Consciousness. This makes it much more likely for you to find content, especially when you have certain content turned off. This will just make it so there's more stuff on your maps, especially early league. I think it's a worthwhile point to take. The other thing you'll note is I did go into the red altars, Searing Exarch. I feel like especially early league, being able to get those Awakened Sextants, Chisels, and Chaos Orbs is just really, really, really good, especially when divines were only 100 chaos per. And, we'll see. I went to blue a little bit later. At 100 chaos per divine, I think the value of just having a ton of chaos drop. Red monsters spawn nearly instantly, so you can kill them really quickly. Blue monsters are much, much slower. Getting those like 4 to 10 divine orbs in a single map is actually just not really worth it compared to, when you're looking at 100 chaos per, in my opinion, at least when you're bootstrapping at the beginning of the league. Combination of Harvest, Expedition, and Ritual with the red altars. This is basically like the end of my initial league start strategy. Zeus wants to say hi right here. He wants to be let out. Zeus, what's your favorite Atlas strategy? I think his favorite Atlas strategy is getting some food. All right, and then this is where we see the first shift. Basically what happened is Cute Dog also league started Bane, and there was a gentleman's bet as to who would hit level 100 first. Whoever lost the race would have to gift a sub in the other person's channel. So as someone who doesn't like to back down from a competition, I leaned into it. I went into Breach. I also went into, I don't have a screenshot of it, but I also went into the Abyss nodes. And what this allowed me to do, I went full Breach, full Abyss, and just like the raw monster density, and not to mention that you can get more XP from Abyss monsters specifically. That was a way that I was able to juice my XP really, really hard. And I actually hit level 99.5 in about a week from league start without any 5-ways or anything. Now, I did do 2 5-ways at the very, very end just to finish it off, but Cute Dog was still only level 98, so at that point, it wasn't even close. So that's basically what the strategy was. Really, there was basically no currency with breaches. It was just to have a lot of monster density, just to try to get some really good XP. The other thing about having the Abyss nodes right over here, these nodes over here will give you the 6 mod corrupted Abyss jewels. And I actually sold a number of those for 30 to 50 chaos on league start. And you can use that all throughout the league. Like if you get a really, really good one, like 4 different minion damage mods, minion life, minion speed, those will sell for really, really good currency. So if you like doing Abyss and you just want to do like really high pack size, those are really good nodes to take. The other thing that I took here is Intelligence Gathering. This is a nice kind of passive set of nodes to have. You get 10 intelligence every time you complete a map. Because Devouring Diadem was selling for 5, 6, 7 divines on league start, this was really nice just to trigger Katarina fairly often if you're just mapping really hard, even without doing any betrayal missions. So this was a really good set of nodes that I was a big fan of, particularly on league start. Besides that, the only thing that I haven't really mentioned, you'll see this is when I went into Essences. Essences, just really good for crafting your own gear, and eventually they do become worth a lot of currency. On top of that, you'll see this in the rest of the strategies. I never unspec out of these nodes the rest of my life. Supplication here with Syncretism, having additional shrines, having your shrines last longer, and getting double shrine buffs. That on top of having Domination on the map device for 3 additional shrines, you have guaranteed 4 shrines minimum per map. And I've actually seen up to 8 in a single map. It just makes the game faster, more fun, your character's tankier, and it actually gives you a ton of monsters, right? Particularly if you have that combined with Drawn to Power right here. 50% of the time, they have an additional pack of monsters, and each one has at least a pack of magic monsters. This is really, really good for XP, and just the raw pack size is incredibly good for just killing more monsters and getting more loot. I am such a fan of the shrine nodes. I will not unspec them. They are non-negotiable. I don't want to play the game without them ever again, particularly when Domination is on the map. This is the end of the first week of the league. This is when I'm pushing XP, trying to get level 100 ASAP. That's really the main intent of this strategy. What we see here is I went all the way back into Harvest, all the way into red shrine nodes. I think the main idea here was to, as you can see, go for as much quantity as possible and just push Harvest as far as I can. Just doing an Elk and Go strategy, right? Like the one thing in the back of my mind with all of these strategies is I still want to be running as many Sanctums as possible. I don't get bogged down with doing 4 wing scarab, whatever, just pure juice map stuff. My main intent, like always 50% of the time, I want to be running more sanctums. And that's actually the main reason why I got rid of expedition eventually, is sanctums are what I want to be doing the most. It's the most fun thing in the game. Let's just say you can get some really, really, really good stuff. It's on another level. It's the reason why I'm playing the game right now the most. It's what motivates me. So in the back of my head, sanctum is why I'm playing the game. And so expedition was really good for bootstrapping my currency. Honestly, harvest is also a little too slow for me. I do eventually unspec harvest entirely, with yellow juice being absolutely ridiculously priced, right? The main problem is that yellow juice is super, super, super overloaded in what it does. Big thing is it gambles, right? Yellow juice gambles for doing the div card stuff. And a lot of people are doing that, going to Captain Lance, Cute Dog, and my streams, and, just wanting to like double click, triple click their doctor cards. And so each one of those is 1,500 yellow juice. And then the other really big one is 2,500 juice for map does not consume. This is the real reason. Map does not consume sextant charges. This is the main thing that a lot of people have been doing right now with the Wing Scarab Elevated Sextant, which is selling for 75 divines right now. I'm sure you've seen like Zizzarin's video that shows that strategy. Very cool strat, but it's also just entirely mapping focused. You're like riding the margin of how much you spent on everything to try to like get back your currency. It's a cool strat. It's not for me. It delays me from doing stuff like this and getting these really, really cool items. And then not to mention that chaos is, as always, very popular. Costs 100 yellow juice just to do reroll chaos, much to my chagrin. 17,500 if you're doing Og chaos. So yellow juice is just very, very overloaded right now. And so if you're going to do a harvest strategy, definitely go over here and definitely take the less likely purple and blue nodes right here, because you want to min-max getting as much yellow juice as possible. So yeah, like that's the way that these nodes are set up. So you take the blue and the purple, and then you're going to see more yellow juice. That's a really good farming strategy. Like 5,000, as we just saw, 5,000 juice for one divine is incredibly, that's the market value, but holy cow, that's really expensive. But yeah, this is kind of like the refinement as I backed out of the XP strategy, just doing harvest for some more money, but still, in the back of my mind, I want to be doing sanctums. Yeah, so we have 3 final pictures here, and these are going to be like the back half of the refinement of where my strategy is right now. The main thing that happened, let's find the Wandering Path one, is Captain Lance put out a video a couple weeks ago saying, hey, this is my strategy for min-maxing, running as many sanctums as possible. When I saw that video, I got really excited. I immediately copied his tree. Yeah, I'm in like a hybrid version right now. But the basic idea is you take Wandering Path right here, which says the notables, which are the medium-sized ones, they will do nothing. The keystones, the big ones, they still work, but the small nodes will have double value. And the big reason why you want to do that is the chance for map drops to drop duplicated is doubled to 1% per node. And then the additional connected map nodes, those are the more yellow ones here, the 2% chance for a monster to drop in a connected map actually goes to 4%. And so you actually end up with so many maps that you way, 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 way over sustain. You'll see I have 778 maps right now just sitting there, and I've sold a ton of them. I actually have this dump tab right here that I fill up with my overflow, and people will just whisper me once in a while to buy maps off of me. I also refined Captain Lance's strategy, at least for myself personally. You want to take the hat up here, which gives you increased effect of the map modifiers. You'll see 2% increased effect of modifiers on your maps. This actually goes to 4%, which will bring you up to a total, if you have the whole hat, of 60% increased effect of modifiers, which contributes to the quantity and rarity on your map. So that's basically what I was doing here. Insane map drops and really good quant regardless. So yeah, this is the strategy that I did for a while, because the entire goal, I just ran like 8 to 10 sanctums every single day on stream. And that was really my go-to strategy. You also notice that like it's not perfect, right? I'll have some flaws here. Like I noticed right down here that I have a notable still allocated, a couple ones right there. But if you are doing Wandering Path, like I said, the notables, the medium-sized nodes will do nothing. So you want to unspec all of those. So you see a lot of these like danglers right here. Those are on purpose. We want to have our dangly nodes because they're twice as effective, but the medium-sized nodes will do nothing. So you just unspec those. So you have a lot of like weird-looking trees with Wandering Path. So if you want to just farm sanctums as quickly as possible, watch Captain Lance's video. For me, this is a refinement of that strategy. He was running the maps white. I'm doing Elk and Go because I want to have a lot of quantity. This is like a hybrid strategy where you still get some pretty good loot and you're not just going sanctum only. This is my final atlas. I believe this is a 1-to-1. I took the picture yesterday. This is a continued evolution. This is like my final form, I guess you could say. It's not perfect whatsoever, but this is what I've ended up on and what I'm really, really enjoying for min-maxing what I like to do in the game, which is elk and go. I don't want to deal with sextants. I don't want to deal with scarabs. I hate all of that fiddly crap. I find it incredibly annoying every 3 to 4 maps redoing my sextants, doing like having to craft things on my map to not consume sextants, having to slow down and wait for things like even Abyss I find really annoying, like if it goes backwards. So the entire idea here is elk and go, really high quantity mapping, fairly high quant focused mapping with just having good content that I enjoy in every single map. So as always, I have mandatory shrine nodes right here. I have the delirium nodes. This is the big kind of refinement here is Deli is just free money, right? If there's a Deli node on the map, really good quant, really good free currency by pushing the quant on the blue altars and then just killing more monsters and getting a lot of additional rewards from those delirium mirrors. I can still run my maps as quickly as I want to. I don't feel pressured to be in there longer to do the additional content. And it's giving me enough drops that I am sustaining a good amount of currency, and I'm feeling very happy with the currency that I'm getting. That's like really the main idea behind my strategy. You know, I still have essences, I still have shrines, but I have everything turned off here. Every single thing turned off except for delirium, doing blue altars, doing shrines, doing essences, and just rushing sanctums, but still getting really good quantity in my maps and solid drops overall. So yeah, I know that was kind of long. I wanted to go into as much detail and my thought process behind all that. The big thing for me is setting up a strategy that makes the game fun for how I want to play it. As always, I want to emphasize it's okay to be interested in and see what the big boys are doing to farm, and they're farming their mage bloods and they're doing all that type of stuff. But I always want to just like really, really reiterate and hammer home that you don't have to have that FOMO. You don't have to play like them. Like if that's your own personal goal, that's okay. But I really think the main thing is to set up the strategy in a way that is fun for you and allows you to just log in, play the game in the thing that min-maxes your fun. You're like, I hate when I see people come in chat and they're like, I just spent 2 weeks farming for a mage blood and I don't have any currency left. I bought a mage blood. Do you have any ideas for builds? And I'm just like, and then they're just like, I just don't know what to do. You want to double craft my mage blood? And then if it poofs, I quit the league. You're just going to get burnt out playing like that. Find a way to enjoy the game as you're playing it. Journey before destination every single time. Goals are good, but don't burn yourself out trying to reach those goals. It's not about min-maxing. The Atlas is just to allow you to push the content in a direction that is more fun. It does not have to be perfect. Play the way that you want. And that's just what I believe in. And I would love to see your strategies that you put in the comments below. I'm always open to more ideas. There are so many ways to play the game based on the Atlas. And I just want people to be inspired and see what's really out there and show that you can play the game your way instead of having to do the min-max strategies that other people might be recommending. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Goodbye.